Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're taking a look at John's 2018 3.6 liter V6 Challenger GT. It's a part of our customer build profiles on the site, and if you're not familiar with them, it's basically a profile for all of our customers with submitted images, along with a pairing of their mods lists to hopefully get you inspired and give you an idea of what you could do to your Challenger in the future. Now today we're taking a look at John's Challenger, which he wants to be a perfect daily driver for himself with a number of really tasteful mods. Now if you want to see more of John's build with pictures and his mods list, you can click the link below if you're watching on YouTube, or check out his customer build profile page on the site. Now subscribe to our YouTube channel before we jump into things to keep updated on future content, news, and product reviews. Let's talk to John. Hey John, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this with me. I'm talking about your Challenger.
I'd love to talk about it.
Dude, let's jump right into it. So you have a 2018 Challenger. Can you tell me a little bit about the Challenger itself, what you got going on under the hood, powertrain?
Sure. So yeah, I got a 2018 Challenger, and I decided to go with the GT. I live in Chicago, so I wanted to make sure I had a car I could drive year round. My goal was to really make the ultimate daily driver. You know, that was sort of like my dream, the vision is like, what can I go with that could have the looks, you know, of a muscle car, some get up and go, more than your average, you know, car on the road, and at the same time, something I can make sort of mine and customize a one-of-one. So I went with the GT.
And it looks like you've got some really tasteful things happening. And at first glance, I look at your Challenger and it looks like it could be stock, and you almost need to take a quick look at it and really examine the details to really see some really tasteful things you got going on there. The first thing that did stick out to me was the suspension. If you look closely, it's definitely lowered, and I think the Challenger looks really nice. Can you tell me about that setup?
Yeah, for sure. Just like you said, a lot of what I want to go with, I wanted subtle sort of upgrades. By day, I'm an elementary school principal. So I want to keep things kind of, you know, tame, but at the same time, I have some bold styling. So yeah. Think about the GT, because of the all-wheel drive, the wheel gap is bananas. It is crazy stock. So I had to get rid of that wheel gap almost immediately. I didn't go with a super aggressive slam, but just enough to, you know, like a two-finger gap in that wheel well, as opposed to what was like a full fist before.
Yeah, and I think the Eibach is definitely one of my favorites as far as suspension. They just make really quality stuff there. You've also got power stop drilled and slotted rotors, and a lot of people go with that. They want extra stopping power, and yours looks really good. Also paired with the MGP black caliper covers. So that's a really nice package. What made you go with, you know, a brake kit?
So I wanted that drilled and slotted look. I went with it primarily for the looks. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wanted it to look sporty. You know, when you peek through the wheels, I wanted you to have something to look at. The stock ones are just that. You know, adding some stopping power, you know, is definitely a plus. But it was all about wanting to have the look of the Big Brother version of the Challenger. You know, the Scat Packs and Hellcats. I wanted that same look.
It does have the benefit of, you know, the drilled and slotted, the whole purpose is kind of heat dissipation, getting dust off the surface of the rotor and moisture and water, but the look is so iconic, and especially paired with your wheels. You've got those 5-spoke wheels. You can really see the full look of the rotors, and it looks so good in the wheel well. And
I went with a wheel that I felt like was inspired by like the Demon 5-spoke wheel, and because you have such those big gaps, the calipers look so tiny. You know, I don't have the big Brimbos on there, so in order to sort of beef up the caliper and give it a little something extra, you know, I went with the MGP caliper covers just to give you a little something when the wheels are spinning. It's got a great look when it moves.
And you have tires to complement. You've got 20-inch wheels. You've got 245s, 275 in the rear. So you have the staggered setup.
Yeah.
Were you kind of inspired by some of the Hellcat styling with a staggered setup?
Exactly. It was all about stance. Again, the stock wheels I think are like 235s, and those things are like twigs. Up under this big, you know, this car has hips. You know.
Oh yeah.
You gotta do more with that. It's still flush, you know, along the wheel wells, not poking out too much, but it's got a nice low aggressive stance. Again, all about that profile. Yeah, and it handles so much better because of it, you know.
Oh, absolutely. There's a couple other things, small things, you know, that make the difference. You have a satin black wrapped hood, so it looks like it kind of blends in with your paint color, but again, if you look closely, you see those details. Your hood and your spoiler wrapped. Satin black fuel door. It's really popular with the Challengers that have that aggressive fuel door from the factory. And then finally, you got some fog lights and side markers, and side markers are something that I always find interesting. It's just such a small mod that I would even, as an owner, overlook, but when you do get them, it's so impactful. You know, replacing the factory one. How do you like them?
Yeah, I got two boys, 6 and 8. And out of all the things I've done in this car, the main thing that stands out to them is if I hit that remote start and they see it from, the parking lot, the lights are different. Those lights are way cooler because they're just so much brighter. They're still smoked out. So again, when they're off, you don't really see them at all.
Right.
But when they're on or when they're in use, they really, really pop. And then just go from end to end instead of like those 3 little dots that were in the middle before. It's just been a huge improvement. But like you said, it's a subtle improvement that.
Well, your kids are definitely pointing it out. And so,
yeah.
I mean, that's how you know it's something that stands out really well. That's just one of those mods that's cheap in price, but not cheap in function and quality. And guys watching at home, just remember you can click the link below if you're watching on YouTube to take a look at John's mod list along with some pictures if you want to follow along and get inspired. Now, you also have a couple of power mods happening. You have the AFE GT Magnum cold air intake, and it's just a category that's so saturated. And I'm curious what made you land on that particular intake.
I like the look of the AFE under the hood. First of all, it fits so much better with what's going on under there, up under my hood. But also the sound of it is just so much more mature. A lot of people want like that roar, they want to, a little noise under the hood with the intake. This one is just much more tasteful. But the last thing that I really liked about that enclosed filter is that I can use now the headlight port. All the Challengers have that the headlight inlet you can pop out. I think the Hellcats is already open, but I want to make use of it. So I popped my headlight out, have some inserts, and now I got cold air coming straight through the front of the car. The butt dyno seems to have some improvement. It seems like I can feel a change, but again, no numbers, no stat sheets.
Have you thought about putting it on an actual dyno?
Not yet, because I do aspire to throw a supercharger in there. And that's when, I definitely want to know what the numbers actually are and be sure about it.
That's a high ticket item. I mean, that's people really aspire to that. And I think throwing that at a V6 can really go a long way of, changing the stigma almost around V6s.
Yeah.
You've definitely put some tasteful things on it, like I said, but a supercharger takes it to the next level.
Yeah, that's the ultimate right there. That's the ultimate daily driving experience. Once I'm able to pull that off, I think it'll be, done so.
So you think. It never ends, though. It never ends.
Yeah, that's true.
Last thing I have on the list here is your Flowmaster American Thunder. Flowmaster's been around for decades, right? They're like an iconic name. And the American Thunder is a classic. Everybody loves that. It's just a really, really nice muscle car sound. How have you liked that on your Challenger?
I spent so much time on listening to sound clips. I'm trying to get an idea of what it would sound like. What I like about it is that it gives the engine some character, right? Not trying to sound like a V8 driving around city traffic. It's just kind of cool and subtle. It's a great startup sound. But when I step on it, on the highway, is when I can really open it up and hear it. And that's what I've come to love about it.
I think throwing something like an American Thunder, which is almost exactly the iconic muscle car sound, is such a good way to wake that V6 up.
Yeah, between the intake and the American Thunder under the bottom, I got a V6 with some character. I'm really loving it.
But I am curious, like I said earlier, the build list never ends. You've mentioned supercharger. Are you thinking anything, for your interior? Are you looking to upgrade anything else?
The biggest things I may look at swap out the interior lights. Definitely look at the supercharger. I might change the webbing and the seat belts to pick up that accent color that I've been working with on the exterior.
But yeah, aside from that, man, looks great. And if you do throw a supercharger on or something like that, man, we're gonna have you back. And I'm gonna test you. You gotta get it on the dyno.
Oh, for sure. That'll be one of the first stops to be able to show some numbers and to brag about my daily driven V6 and what it puts down at the wheels.
And I'm sure the kids at school will love it.
Yeah, for sure. They already do.
That's great. That's good to hear. All right, John, I really appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to talk about your Challenger. It looks great.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
All right, take care. Be safe, all right?
You too.
All right, bye. That's gonna wrap things up here. We just talked to John about his 2018 Challenger GT V6 that has a lot of potential, a lot of tasteful mods on it as a perfect daily driver, and he's got a lot of hopes for big mods in the future. Now, if you wanna see more of John's build with pictures and his mods list, you can click the link below if you're watching on YouTube, or check out his customer build profile page on the site. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all things Challenger, and keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.